Hello everybody, welcome to the Red Devil Experience. How you all doing? My name is Eric. We are here live with the Red Devil Experience. We're gonna do the daily show, the news show. We got big updates surrounding Manchester United today. Garnacho, Kobbie Mainoo, Cassie, Anthony, Marcus Rashford, and some other news surrounding transfers. So it's going to be a good show. Before we get involved in the show and we get to the news, please smash the like button for me because it helps the channel grow. And if you want to support us in that way, we greatly appreciate it. So thank you for doing that and taking your time. And if you enjoyed today's content and you enjoy our community and you enjoy our discussions and you're new, then make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit the notification bell. So you get the little notification when we go live. We go live weekly, and we're also live after every match doing what we call the Red Devil Recap. So, yeah, thank you for that. Now, let's get straight into the show and waste no time whatsoever. And the first update, a lot of talk about this. It's been heating up, so we're going to get straight into it. It's about Alejandro Garnacho. So, the news surrounding Alejandro Garnacho is that Napoli are serious about signing Alejandro Garnacho and want to complete the deal as soon as possible. Garnacho is the man chosen by Antonio Conte to replace Kvar. I'm not going to try and pronounce his entire name. Now, we have more updates about this. I have maybe somewhat what is considered a controversial opinion in the Manchester United fan base. It seems like, for whatever reason, I can't seem to understand it, but the sale of Garnacho is split 50-50 in some way. There's a certain section that think Garnacho is trash. They want him sold. They don't think he's good enough, and they're excited that he's going to be sold. There's the other section of the fan base that don't want him sold. They are reluctant to sell him. He's a young guy with high potential, and they don't see the benefit in selling him. There's a price tag involved with it. I think the price tag matters a lot. And you know, we'll kind of get into that a little bit more, but let's go through the updates of Garnacho, and then we could have a nice discussion about it. So following that update, this update came out saying that Manchester United have not received any formal approaches for Alejandro Garnacho, and that's coming from Sky Sports, Sky Sports. That's all you need to know. Following that up, apparently, Scott McTominay, our former wonder kid, who now plays at Napoli, has apparently been in contact with Alejandro Garnacho about a move from Manchester United to Napoli, essentially trying to convince him to go to Napoli. And I will say, shame on you, Scott McTominay. I knew we shouldn't have sold him. We shouldn't have sold him, because now look what he's doing. He's trying to take Garnacho away from us. I'm only half kidding, but yeah, apparently that's going on. And the last update for Garnacho is, which is the most recent one that we've gotten, is that Manchester United sources have indicated that the speculation surrounding Alejandro Garnacho to Napoli is agent-driven. They are unlikely to entertain offers for him this month unless an exceptionally high bid comes in. Now, the price around Garnacho has been quoted as Napoli want to pay somewhere around in the region of 40 million. Manchester United are asking for, they want 70 million or higher. Of course, you'll never say no to higher, but the minimum is 70 million. There's been a back and forth, but the news keeps coming and it keeps being pushed. There's heavy interest from Napoli. Napoli definitely want him. Napoli just sold Kvar to PSG. They're looking for a replacement, and apparently Alejandro Garnacho is number one on their list. Antonio Conte has deemed him so, and they're pushing heavily for this. Now, I'm going to say Um, anything under, for me, in my opinion, 70 million or higher, I would push for higher. And some people will think that that's crazy, but he is a 19-year-old kid. Maybe he's not in the best of form right now, but we've seen him in good form, and we've seen him what he can do, and we've seen his ability. He's 19. He plays for Manchester United. He plays in the Premier League regularly. And if this was any other player at any other team, they would be asking for 80 million plus. There is no reason why Alejandro Garnacho should be being sold for less than that price. Because if he had a Portuguese name and he was playing for Benfica, or he was playing for Porto, or he was playing for Sporting, they would, number one, have a release clause in him, and it would be for 100 million, and they would not accept anything less than the 100 million buyout clause. So I don't understand why Manchester United would have to sell a player like this for 50 million, 40 million. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't agree with it. It doesn't sit right with me. And if we were to sell him for that price, I would be highly upset, and I think it would be a bad deal, and it just doesn't sit right with me in my gut. I don't think we should necessarily be selling him. Although, at the same point, if somebody was to bid 70, 80 million, I think that is a very good price, and that's something that you can't necessarily turn down. I think in terms of Manchester United's position right now, where we are pretty much struggling for finances, but I still think that that's a very good deal, and I think that's something that we would probably have to strongly consider. And if we were to take action upon it, I would say that that's fair. I wouldn't be happy to losing Alejandro Garnacho, because he's not a player on the list of players that I'm looking to remove from Manchester United. He is a player that I would like to keep at Manchester United. I think the positives of keeping him outweigh the negatives. So I'm not personally looking to sell him, but I think that, every player does have a price, and my price would be a strong price, and it would be 70 to 80 million or higher. I don't believe that Manchester United should be selling Alejandro Garnacho for 40 million, 50 million, or 60 million. I think it's way too low. I think if he played at any team, let's reverse it. If he played at Napoli, Napoli would be asking for 70, 80 million. Because of the potential, because of his age. It's not even so much of what he's accomplished, even though he is that young and he's played a ton of first team football, and he has already a ton of experience at that age. So in my opinion, I don't understand why, Manchester United go to sell one of their top players, with a top prospect in his age, and prices like 40 million are being quoted. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And there's no way it should happen. No way it should happen. Let me get to the chat, because the chat has their own opinions. Shout out to Richard. Shout out to Lyle. Shout out to Lions. I see Ray's in here as well. Good evening to all of you. Richard says, ask Scott to phone Marcus. I mean, he should. But maybe Scott doesn't want Marcus. Maybe he wants Garnacho. Maybe he doesn't want Marcus. Maybe that's why Napoli has kind of cooled their interest. Maybe they've asked McTominay about Marcus. Maybe they've asked him about his attitude. Maybe McTominay hasn't said nice things about Marcus Rashford. I don't know. That's obviously all 100,000% pure speculation. I'm just making that up. But, and it's a little bit of a joke. But, Richard says 60 million or higher. Lion says for 60 million, I would let him go. That's what I would let him go for. So does he not still have 4 years left on his contract? I think he does. I'm not sure. And yes, it would be pure profit. So that's another good point. But I would still demand the most that we could possibly get. Lion says, didn't we buy Garnacho? I don't think he would be classed as home talent. We did buy Garnacho, but I don't know the rules because he did go into the youth academy and he was at a young age, and I don't know how many years he was there. So I don't know if he ends up getting classified as because I think there's a way for them to be classified as homegrown, but they have to spend a certain amount of years. I don't know if he falls under that. But you might be right in that aspect. Richard says, don't worry, Eric, they can always bring me in for Garnacho. I mean, there's a whole list, and Grace gave us the list last time on the last show, and if she could give us that list again, if she remembers, but I'm sure I'm sure she can remember because it was in her head. But the list she gave last time, I 100% agree with that list. I wouldn't veer off of that list. I would look to sell all the players on those lists, and they would be #1 priorities. But to be fair, we did talk about this at one point that, you know, we may have to look at some sales that we are reluctant to do because of our financial situation and the fact that, you know, we have to do a real rebuild. And maybe a player like Alejandro Garnacho, if we can get 70 million for him, you know, you take that into account and you look at what you can do with that in terms of the squad and what it means for Ruben Amorim. And maybe you got to do it as much as you don't want to do it. But there is a player for me that is absolutely off limits. And if he was to be sold, I would lose my mind. And I would absolutely go on a tirade against Ineos. And that is Kobbie Mainoo. I don't care what they say. They say every player has a price tag, but for me, Kobbie Mainoo is a player that should be considered untouchable at this moment. You know, there's certain players like Lamine Yamal ain't gonna get sold from Barcelona unless somebody offers Barcelona 300 million, and they may still reject it. You know, and I would liken that to Kobbie Mainoo. You know, there's certain players that cannot be sold, should not be sold, especially when we have a list of 9 to 10 players that you could sell before them. You know, yeah, they're harder deals, but, you know, get it done. Do it. Do your job. Figure out how to move them on. #1, specifically, it just feels wrong to me that Alejandro Garnacho will be sold before Marcus Rashford is sold. Marcus Rashford ain't playing. Marcus Rashford isn't helping us in any way. Marcus Rashford should be the first one out the door. You know, Garnacho's playing games. Garnacho got an assist and gave it to Bruno Fernandes for the goal against Arsenal in the FA Cup match that ended up leading us to going to penalties and getting a win. So, you know, for me, priorities, they're much, much different. He's at 20, 4 years left on his deal, minimum 60 million. I would say minimum 70 million. I think we're pricing him too low. I do. I think we are. Because I highly believe that if Garnacho was on any other team in any other place and somebody tried to price him out of that team with 4 years left on his contract at 20 years old, they would be asking for an astronomical fee. And it's not about talent, it's about the potential. He's 20. At 24, he could be one of the best players in the world, and he could be worth over 150 million. So why should they get this player at a premium discount? I highly don't agree with this. I hope it doesn't happen. But yes. Ray says if we sell Garnacho, we are like Judas. Well, yeah, that's how it kind of feels. And Ray says money, money, money. Well, we do need money. That's the bad part. But there are people there to get money out of. You know, Rashford is on the table. You got to figure that deal out. There's interest in him. Is it difficult? Yes, because of his high wages. Yes. Take half his wages on. Move him on. Get him out. Get the wages off of the books in the long run and get a fee and move on from that. There's Casemiro as well. you know, there's a couple other players. There's Anthony's being talked about as well. So, you know, Grace says Casemiro, Rashford, Mount, Anthony, Maguire, Shaw, Eriksson, Lindelof. That is the list. Now for me, the only question mark I would have over that is maybe Harry Maguire. Again, I would say Harry Maguire, if you can, give me a second, guys. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. We are back. I almost flipped the chair over. So Harry Maguire. What I was saying about Harry Maguire is Harry Maguire. If you can do a deal where his wage is lowered, then I'm okay with keeping Harry, because Harry has been playing very good for us. And I think it's okay to keep Harry. I think he fits the system. He's experienced. He's been there for a while. It's just his wage. We got to lower his wage. And if he's willing to agree to accept the deal, maybe a 2-year deal or something like that at a little bit of a lower wage, and maybe he retires at Manchester United, or he leaves on a free after that and goes and plays in, you know, MLS or something, or a lower team or something like that. You know, then I'm okay with that, because he's been valuable to the squad. So I don't, you know, the only problem would be his wage. You know, unless you get a good offer for him, but I don't think we're gonna get an offer. You know, are we gonna get an offer of like 25 million for Harry Maguire on that wage at that age? You know, I don't know. I think he's been pretty good. You know, even as a squad player, he's been good. So I don't see, you know, I don't see a problem with that. But Line says Kobbie is the player we build around. He should be untouchable. We're gonna get to Kobbie Mainoo. So we have to eject any money from youth players. Well, that's a big problem that we're doing right now. Is that we are looking at these at our youth players, because they're pure profit, and we're making decisions that we probably necessarily don't really want to, but because it helps us the most financially, because of FFP and PSR, these are the deals that are happening before clearing the shitty deadwood players that don't belong here, that are costing us a fortune and that are a waste of money. So yeah. But Kobbie also hasn't proved that he should earn 200K a week. Well, I don't think he, you know, that story of him asking for 200K a week, I think is a little bit of nonsense. I don't think Kobbie Mainoo is demanding 200K a week. Also, I seen part of the story, or a story, saying that, you know, it's a 5-year deal, or would be a 5-year deal, probably with an option to extend. So you're talking about a 6-year deal. And what they're asking for is not for Kobbie Mainoo to have 200,000 a week right off the bat. They're asking that it could rise to 200,000 a week based off of performances, based off of, you know, merit-based performances, which I don't find necessarily a problem. It depends, obviously, you know, what the performance-based incentives are to raise that. Is it a certain amount of, you know, appearances? Is it, you know, finishing top 4, winning this trophy, winning that trophy? You know, those are the minor details, or the finer details, that the club have to figure out. But I think over a period of time, in the 5 years, if it is to rise to 200K, I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I don't think that that's a bad deal. And also, you know, fair enough to him, he's looking out for himself. He's probably one of the lesser paid players at Manchester United. Meanwhile, he's probably one of our more important players. So, you know, does he deserve 200K right now? No, I don't think he's asking for 200K right now. I think that story is being blown up out of proportion. I think what they're asking for is over a certain increment of time, it rises to 200 million, 200,000. Sorry, which I think is not crazy to ask for, in my opinion. Oh my God, we have super chats. You guys don't have to send super chats. Thank you. We got to get to the super chats now. Grace said, you told me super chats are mandatory, so here's my money. Hit the like button. Hit the like button, you bunch of hippos, and that's from Grace. Thank you, Grace. That's awesome. And we did not say. And Lyle sent the first ever super chat. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. First ever super chat for the Red Devil experience. That's Lyle. He beat you to it, Grace, but Grace sent in the second one. You guys are amazing. Thank you very much for sending those. You don't have to send them. And I need to make clear, you know, any money that gets sent through super chats, or we're gonna have memberships as well as available for anybody that wants to do that. I've been working on that. You know, any money that gets sent to the channel, that's gonna be used to be reinvested into the channel in ways that we find appropriate, whether that is you know, maybe we find a graphic designer of some sort to update the channel to make it look a little bit more cooler, a little bit more better, or other means or ways. So, you know, the money's not going to go into my pocket. It's going to be reinvested into you guys and into the channel. So, you know, I appreciate that very much. Thank you guys for doing that. And you know, anybody else, you know, you don't have to feel like you need to. No one's going to get treated any differently. So, I appreciate that if you guys do it. If you don't, it's okay. And it's totally fine. You don't have to feel like you have to do it. So, thank you guys. I appreciate that very much. Very much. Super chats will be used for Eric's daily meals. Yes, we're gonna do taco nights. taco 2 nights, says Ray. Yeah, no. Listen, but that's very, very generous of you guys. I appreciate it. Anyway, and we have some other stuff that we need to talk about the channel. And we'll do that at the end. But let's get into more updates. Right? It says the third super. Who sent the third one? Let's celebrate third super on a live stream. Why does it say 2 and then there's 3? I don't know. YouTube's confusing me. All right. Anyway, so the other stories that we need to get to is apparently, which goes hand in hand with what we're talking about, which is why we need to bring this up. So this is coming from Mike McGrath, who is a credible journalist that we always, you know, bring up his stories and sources as a source on this channel. And he says Manchester United's rivals are ready to pounce on a January deal for Kobbie Mainoo, Alejandro Garnacho, and Marcus Rashford. They anticipate Sir Jim Ratcliffe will want to avoid frantic PSR sales on 30th June to stay within the financial rules. That was followed up by him saying, clubs interested in Manchester United's players believe they will be more open to a deal in the remaining 3 weeks of the January window instead of waiting until the end of the 23-24 season when a sale may be needed, as their negotiating position will reduce significantly. And this thing here, RD United TV is in here as well. Big up yourself. How you doing? Hope everything is well. That's Lyle's. Okay, that's Lyle's. That's Lyle's. That was your third ever super chat on the live stream. That's Lyle's. That's Lyle's milestone. Wow, I was trying to say that 3 times fast. But yes, so these 2 updates, PSR is apparently again, it's the talking point of you know, going on Ray has sent a super chat. Thank you, Ray, very much. Appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. Ray's first super chat on a live stream. So big up Ray for that. You guys are just fantastic. So thank you very, very, very much. Absolutely amazing. RD United says if we sell, we need to buy as our squad is thin. Well, that is the point, I guess, right? We are sort of in a sell to buy sort of situation here. My thing is, this is not what I necessarily want when I say let's sell to buy. I want to sell Rashford. I want to sell Casemiro. I want to sell a Lindelof. I want to sell, somebody like that. I don't want to sell a Garnacho. I definitely don't want to sell a Kobbie Mainoo. So I don't know. Manchester United are trying to give me a heart attack here or something, but yeah. RSV says big up. If City can sell academy graduates who no one even knows for 30-40 million, Garnacho should be sold for at least 50 million. He's got to go higher. He has started a lot of games this season. Higher. You made a very good point, RSV. That price is too low. I'm telling you guys right now, we're selling our players short. We're selling our players short. Alejandro Garnacho, not that it really means anything, but he won the Puskas. He's played a lot of games for us. He was important in matches for us. He's 20 years old. He's played in numerous amounts of Premier League football. He plays in the Premier League. He plays for a club called the Manchester United. If a team wants him, they should be playing 70 million plus, because we're reluctant to sell him. I don't care about our financial situation. We can fix that with the other players that we have available for sale, okay? We're not going into administration. We're not desperate, right? We're not going into administration. We're not, it's not a fire sale. We're not selling off assets for 30 million and 25 million because we can take whatever we need. I think we're selling our players short. Like a player like Garnacho, we're selling him short. Garnacho isn't Casemiro. He's not Eriksen. He's not at the end of his career. He's not washed. He's not finished. He's a kid with immense potential who's already played a lot of Premier League football, and he's played some European football. To me, I would not even bat an eye unless they're offering 70 million or more. And then I would still sit there and have to think about it and look at it. And I would have to look at everything else that's going on at the club. But 100% Grace again. Grace. Grace. Stop. Thank you, Grace. Thank you. Stop. You guys are crazy. I love you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you. Johnny Hill says Ornstein on his podcast confirmed a few days ago that United have no PSR problems at all for this month. So I would call McGrath a fraud, to be honest. Well, well, yes, he did, and I am aware of that. But thank you, Johnny, for bringing that up, because that's a very good point. But I think what he's saying, what McGrath is saying is that because June 30th is the deadline to sort out and stay within the financial rules, and we may run into a problem at that deadline considering what happens in the league. Right now we may be okay right now, but if we try and spend and bring players in, that might have some implication. Another implication, which I don't know how this all ties into each other, because it's a little bit complicated, and I didn't research too much into it, but where we finish in the league, which is obviously it's not going to be in a top 4 position or probably in the top 6, which is probably going to hurt us. So we may be out of Europe if we don't win the Europa League. That's going to hurt us financially as well. So there's some implications there that may force us into something, after the season, around the June 30th deadline. And what he's saying is Manchester United are looking at this as a precautionary thing because they don't want to end up in a situation where we may not be right now, but if we do become fucked by PSR at around that date, we lose a lot of power in terms of negotiations, as he goes on to put out here, because the remaining 3 weeks of the not the January window, but the when you get closer to that date, you're losing significant power because it's going out of your hands. It was something similar to like Everton, even though Everton held their ground and they managed to figure it out. But Everton in the past summer, there was a lot of talk that, you know, we're going to get Branthwaite for a cheaper than they want to sell him because they're struggling with PSR and they need to make some type of a financial money move. We've seen a couple other clubs do things like that where they do a financial money move, you know, right before that June 30th deadline to sort out the books so they don't get hit by PSR. So it's a little bit of a mess. It's a little bit of a mess. But, you know, I think Ornstein, obviously Ornstein being Ornstein, we take Ornstein for, you know, what it is. And he is the most credible. And obviously I don't think we have PSR problems right now. But we can have PSR problems at the end of the season, right before the deadline. So, yes. Lyle says, watch this channel grow. Definitely. Richard says we certainly need to buy if we sell. Well, we have to. There's no question if we sell. And I have, you know, we're gonna do a bit of a weave because there's a lot of things. I have the last tab, which is a little bit far away from here, but I'm gonna bring it all back in together. So, which goes into this point. Are we having a closing down sale? Says RT United TV. Well, the media, the news makes it sound like we are apparently. So, you know. That's what it feels like. RSV says, I still think it's best for Martinez and Dalot to be sold. You can't let the performances versus Liverpool fool you. Well, Martinez had a good performance against Arsenal as well. Dalot, I think, was having a good performance up until he got a red card. That's fair enough. I don't necessarily think that we should sell them. I like those two players. But again, this is the difficult thing that we're in, this position that we're in right now. Because what if we get two very good offers for Lisandro Martinez or Diego Dalot? Then you really have to consider them selling them. You know, I guess it would depend what the fees are at the time. You know, to consider a sale of them. But in my mind, just like right now, you know, off of that list that Grace gave us, those are the players that I think I would definitely move on. They're in the highest of priority. And if somebody else comes in and goes, well, hey, we like Lisandro, or we like the Dalot, or we like this player. Here's, you know, 60 million for one of them or something like that. Then, you know, we really have to sit down and look at it and think about it and strongly consider it. And maybe we do it. Because it's a little bit maybe like, you know, Football Manager. If you guys play Football Manager, like, maybe sometimes there's a player where, you like, for example, I was just playing the other day, and I didn't necessarily have an intention on selling Bruno Fernandes, but I did one season. Second season, after that season, some Saudi Arabian team came in and offered me 120 million for Bruno Fernandes. And he was at the age of 31 years old. I sold him. Because how can you not? You know. So, but Johnny Hill says, I would say it's like less than 5% that Mainoo gets sold, though even Fabrizio very recently said that now Ahmad's contract is sorted, Mainoo is next. I think the club defo trying to sell Garnacho, though. Well, I don't know if they're necessarily trying to sell Garnacho, but I kind of just think they have this policy right now that they kind of had in the summer that no one is technically off of the table because I think they're trying to see what kind of bids they can get. I don't think Kobbie Mainoo is going to get sold because I think they would have to offer 100 million north. Now, we don't know Ineos. You know, if Chelsea is like, here's 70 million for Kobbie Mainoo, maybe they accept it. I'm sure they would be well aware of the absolute backlash from that from the fans, which might play into that as well. Because I don't think fans would accept selling Kobbie Mainoo for 70 million to Chelsea as acceptable in any way. But I think they do have this sort of thing right now that nobody is technically off of the table. I don't know if they're pushing to sell certain players, but they're pretty much like, we have players. Maybe you're interested in one of them. Give us an offer and we'll talk about it and we'll see. So, but yeah, fair enough. HK is here as well. HK is back. Good to see you, HK. On the chat skipping around all over the place. And I'm very far behind. If Mainoo is demanding 200k a week, he can leave. I don't want another player to go down the Lingard Pogba route like Rashford. Well, I talked about that a little bit, and I don't think he's demanding 200k right off the bat. I think he's demanding an increase over the contract period, which would probably be 5 years plus an extra year, which would be 6 years. Which I don't have a necessarily problem with that. If he has a base pay, and it goes over, especially over like player-based performances, you know, I don't find that necessarily a problem. I genuinely don't want to see another player's toxicity poisoning the dressing room. Well, nobody wants to see that, and I don't think it's necessarily toxicity. Kobbie seems like a quiet guy. I think he's looking after him. You know, his agent is trying to look after himself, after his client, which is the right thing to do. And I don't think Kobbie is asking for 200k a week. I don't. RD United said he had to head off though. Well, thank you for stopping by, RD United. Much appreciated, and we'll catch you later. Johnny Hill says also the 200k stuff is just Chris Wheeler lying, because he also tried to say Chelsea want him. Palmer is currently on 130k, so Mainoo ain't getting 200k anywhere. Also, even last year, Wheeler put it a lot. Well, again, I just don't think that Kobbie is going into negotiations and saying, I want 200k a week, starting on this new deal. I think, if anything, the most likely scenario would be, all right, my base pay would be, I don't even know what he gets paid right now, but I think it's under 100k, right? So maybe he wants like 110k or something like that. You know, and I get a salary increase over the next 5 years of 5%. So, you know, by the time you get to the 5th year or whatever, it would be 200k, something like that. You know, so I don't think he's asking, for that. And damn it, I was gonna say RSV's messages actually stayed here, and now they're being retracted once again. I don't understand why. RSV, you got send us. Are you in trouble? Send us an SOS. I don't understand why your messages get retracted. I don't get it. Gray says, who said sell Dalot? Get out. Johnny Hill says, Grace, how are you going to feel in the summer when we buy a left wing back and Dalot holds bench? She's going to be very upset. Very upset. Richard says, sell Dalot and buy that guy at Napoli, Scott somebody. Yeah, we should probably look to buy Scott McTominay. He seems like a fantastic player. Grace says, Dalot will go back to the right. Yeah, I think he can. Especially because I think we need hold on. I have this issue. Give me a second. All right, I'm back. Okay. All right. So what I was saying was about Dalot. Yeah, I think Dalot could probably go back to the right, um, especially because we might have a little bit of a void at the center back. So Maz might continue to fill a role there and maybe do a little bit of rotation there. Um, because I think if we're playing with three center backs and you're saying Lindelof is one that you're going to move on, that's one less center back. Johnny Evans, I don't think is going to carry on. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's injured. Is he not? Wait, I don't know if he's injured. But he hasn't featured. Um, so he's another one that's not really available. So we're gonna need at least, in my opinion, I would probably get like another three center backs. But I don't think we're not gonna get three center backs. So we'll probably get like one. At the at the minimum, maybe two. And we could have Maz swapping out in there, and then Dalot would be on the right, that you can kind of him and maybe Ahmad, um, so Grace Johnny says no chance though. Maz got that spot locked down. Well, I think we can rotate. There's a lot of rotation in there. We play a lot of matches, and you have to take into account also maybe like injuries and stuff like that. So, and Ray says, don't forget we have to have a good bench to compete, and that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, and then Grace points out that Maz is better at right center back. And this is what I'm saying. Like, we can rotate these players as well. So there should be a good amount. Holy smokes, why am I so far away? HK is here saying, hi, mate, nice to see you again. Nice to see you, HK. Glad you're back. Lyle says, Mainoo is smart, and I think he has some smart folks around him. He is young, and with our new wage structure, he will sign because he gets it. No, I think Kobbie will sign, and I don't think it's a problem. I think it's being blown way out of proportion. HK says, why are we selling Kobbie? Are the owners smoking some dodgy stuff? Well, it's being put out that they may potentially be looking to sell Kobbie Mainoo. I don't think they are. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the media and the transfer news, and the transfer rumors, I think it's being blown out of proportion. We do have an update on Kobbie Mainoo. And since we're talking about him, and then I'll catch up on the chat, let's just bring it up and talk about it. So here's a little bit of what's going on. So Manchester United are currently in negotiations with Kobbie Mainoo to extend his contract amidst interest from Chelsea, because apparently Chelsea are interested, and that is the rumor, who are reportedly ready to table a £70 million bid. The urgency in these talks stems from Manchester United need to navigate financial regulations, although the specific deadline of June 30th remains unconfirmed. Chelsea's interest in Mainoo is part of their strategy to bolster their midfield, with the club confident in their compliance with the Premier League financial rules. This situation underscores the high stakes involved in securing the future of one of England's promising talents. So that's kind of like the little recap, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, about this whole Chelsea coming for Kobbie Mainoo type of thing. The update that we got, the latest update about Kobbie Mainoo, is that Manchester United are hopeful of agreeing a new contract with Kobbie Mainoo sooner rather than later. It's expected that by the start of next season, which to me, that's crazy, but he'll be tied down to a big new deal. And that's from Graham Bailey, who was on MUFC MPB YouTube channel. So that is the latest as far as when we went live on the show. And I'm gonna check again once we get through what we got to get through. I'll check the internet to see if we got any more updates. Johnny Hill says Grace, maybe, but we got Martinez, Dalot, Euro, and Maguire. Yeah, Martinez, Dalot, Euro, Maguire. So we got 4. We're playing 3. So if we get another one, that's 5, right? Which is, that's cover for 2. and then says hence why Maz has been moved to right wing back. Well, I think we can switch him around though. I think we can switch him around. I think for the Arsenal game, he put them there because we were going more defensive. But in actual reality, Ruben Amorim wants to use wingers like Diallo in the wingback slots. He seems to be switching it around a little bit, and I think the stronger we grow into the formation, into the tactics, and the stronger we grow as a team, once we make that transition to we're not really going to be, defending, we're going to be more attacking and having more of the possession. I think we'll see more of the wingers playing in those positions more often in the times. More of the game. So HK says sad how academy prospects never last long anymore. Well, yeah, that's the way the world and football goes. Football has changed. It used to be a lot more loyalty. Now it's a lot more business. And in business, there ain't really no loyalty. Business is business. Money really shows a player's true loyalty. Yeah, but I don't, there's certain players that I don't think they're doing it for money. So, selling our academy graduates just isn't sustainable or ethical, to be honest. It's not. And they're gonna have to figure out, another way, because we can't just keep selling, academy graduates. That's actually. It's actually anti-Manchester United. It's actually the opposite of what Manchester United is. We don't sell academy graduates. We promote our academy graduates and we grow them into players. And not only players, but we grow them into great, fantastic players that other teams and around the world envy and want and wish they had, and they won't get them because we keep them at Manchester United because they are a Manchester United product. Unfortunately, again, and there's a great debate about this because, people blame Ineos and, that they did a deal with the Glazers and whatever, and then that's fine. You can have that opinion, but the fact of the situation is what it is that we are struggling financially, and Ineos, have to figure out how they're gonna get us out of this situation, because it's not sustainable to continue selling academy graduates, but it's also not sustainable. We can't stay in this position that we're in. If we're gonna go and we're gonna grow and we're gonna challenge for the Premier League and we're gonna try and win it, or if we're gonna win it, we can't be in this position that we're in either. So somehow we need to get out of this, and we need to turn this around. So how they actually do that, I don't know. What the, I wish they could communicate the plan a little bit more to us, but that hasn't been their strong suit, really, which has actually been a letdown because we were hoping for a little bit more communication, considering, the way the Glazers have treated us since they've been here. Chris Wood is on fire. Nottingham Forest 1-0 Liverpool. That's absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Please smash the like button if you haven't. Greatly appreciated. It helps us out. So if you could do that, smash the like button. And yeah, thank you for that. Johnny Hill says, but if we're all honest too, we can't blame him for wanting a bumper deal. Mount gets paid $250,000 to watch our games from the bench now. I mean, it is a good point, but the thing I would be saying about that is if I'm Manchester United, I would say, listen, you can't look at Mason Mount because the club gave him that stupid, shitty deal and we weren't in charge. The only argument you can make would be anybody that Ineos has brung in, or at least I would be arguing to them. If I was in charge, I'd be like, well, you can only look at the deal maybe we gave Euro, or the deal that we gave to dalot, or we gave to Xerxes, because those are the players we bring in. We gave them those deals. You know, we understand that, you know, Mount doesn't play and he's getting paid this amount of money and you're getting paid this amount of money and you're playing every week. But that was a mistake from the previous, you know, people in charge. And we're trying to rectify that. You know, the best way we can going forward. So, you know, HK says I've been busy with work. LOI, I have too much to catch up on. Yeah, I feel you. God, I hope Forest wins the title. I mean, don't we all hope and pray that Nottingham Forest win the Premier League title? Because I don't want Liverpool to do it. Certainly don't want Arsenal to do it because just God. I mean, I would take Chelsea because yeah, it is what it is. They're probably the lesser of all the evils out there at this point. But obviously the golden one would be Nottingham Forest. So yeah, for sure. To be honest, what's happening? HK says, to be honest, if you're performing, you deserve a raise. But there are too many here that don't deserve a paycheck. Well, that's the thing that I think that Ineos are trying to sort out. So, Richard, that could be the year of the Forest like Leicester did. I hope so, man. I hope so. That would be amazing. Luckily, I don't know any Liverpool supporters. Yeah, I do. I know Liverpool, I know Arsenal, I know Chelsea, I know one City fan, but he's a fake one that didn't start supporting them until they, you know, were created in fucking 2012 or whatever it was. So yeah. My damn best friend is a Liverpool fan. I have a couple of them. He is planning a huge tattoo should they win the title. Oh Jesus, I feel bad. Dalot and Ma's rotation as our right wing back sounds kind of nice, to be honest. I mean, we need depth. We need depth, and we need strong depth. And we need the strongest of depth there is. With the highest amount of, you know, ability. So, you know, just because, you know, Maz gets the starting spot, I don't think we should necessarily be like, well, that means we throw Dalot to the bins. You know, we could use Dalot as well. We could use all of them. Even the likes of, we have Rasmussen, we have Xerxes. Good. Go get another striker, a top class one. One more experienced. Let's have all three and let's use them. And whoever outperforms whoever, that's who plays or gets the starting spot. And the other ones, you got to come in and you know, fight for that spot. Anthony Alenga was the assist for the Forest goal. Well, still a United player. Chelsea are labeled as Mandem FC here in London, so it makes sense. They need a new member of their Harlem Spartans crew. Mandem FC, yeah, man. The Mandem, bruv. You get the Mandem, bruv. I know rappers in Liverpool, and they are too happy. Well, Jesus. Grace says Mainoo should have been rotation last season. He shouldn't have played so many games. In actuality, he probably shouldn't have played so many games. But the problem is, just like the problem we have now, Grace, we don't got depth for him. We don't have depth. Like, he's got, unfortunately, he's got to play because there's nobody else. There's nobody else. Like, Cass don't got legs. Eriksson don't got legs. Mount ain't an option. I mean, we could realistically maybe play Mount back there, or we could play Bruno and play Mount up there, but Mount ain't available. So we're thin on options. So again, you know, just like, you know, if you feel that way, Grace, well, the same thing's going to happen again this season because all we got is Ugarte and Mainoo, really. Nobody really else there. So, you know, and we got Collier now maybe to help out a little bit. Hopefully, we see a little bit more of him now. But yeah, someone please stop Liverpool. I mean, somebody's got to stop Liverpool. I have got to film there next month. Oh, yeah. What's amazing, nobody is mentioning Luke Shaw. Well, but Luke Shaw is injured, so there's nothing. What we're going to do with Luke Shaw right now? He's injured. Nobody's going to buy him. at this moment in time because he's injured, and he's got to go. Everybody knows he needs to go. The whole fan base knows he needs to go, but you know he's injured right now. There's not a team in the world that's going to buy him at this moment. So you know there's nothing we can do about that. And Johnny says, these Chelsea links seem very strange to me, though, because they have got their own Mainoo-type midfielder on loan currently called Santos, and he's balling out. I'm guessing an agent is using Chelsea's name. Could very well be. Or maybe Chelsea... I mean, Chelsea are crazy, and Chelsea bought a gazillion million players. You know, and Chelsea hijacked a bunch of transfers from rival Premier League teams that they were interested in trying to buy them. So who knows? Maybe Todd Bowley is, you know, being Todd Bowley, and he's like, and he heard like, oh, United is struggling financially. Let's go take their best kid that they got. And you know, he's like, we got money. We'll offer them 80 million. They won't turn it down. Maybe that's it. So I'm well behind on the chat. It's getting busy, yes. Which is a good thing. It's a good thing that I'm behind. So, but I like to get to everybody's chat. I don't want to skip everybody. Grace says, you bunch of scrubs, hitting the like button is free, so do it now. Lyle says, just refresh once we're done and the comment section will be available. Lion says, it would be great for Nuno Espirito Santo if he could win the Prem, particularly after what happened at Spurs. He seems like a class gentleman. Grace says, Eric, nobody has 3 strikers unless they play a front 2. I know. We used to have 4 strikers when we played a front when we played a front 2. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe you could do it. Maybe you can't. Halftime across some of the games in the league updated by Lyle, saying Brentford City 0-0, which is good. Hopefully we can laugh at City again for not winning. Chelsea winning 1-0 versus Bournemouth, and West Ham winning 2-0 against Fulham. And HK says, would be great if we actually got things going in the midfield and defense first. Well, we need that. We definitely need that. And speaking of the midfield, let's get to these updates. Where are we on time? Holy smokes, we went to an hour already? Okay. Casemiro. At this stage, a proposed move to Saudi Arabia for Casemiro is regarded as premature. That came from Laurie Whitwell earlier in the day. Later in the day, Casemiro. Apparently, the MLS are becoming increasingly interested in signing Casemiro. So, and that came from the Muppeteers, obviously American-based. So, you know, I think maybe Saudi Arabia, maybe America. You know, we gotta wait and see. This is the Casemiro thing is moving very slow. Which I'm not liking, and the Rashford thing is moving slow as well, which I'm not liking. There was an update on Anthony to Real Betis. We spoke about this a couple of shows ago. Update came today from Alex Crook and Talk Shite, because they talk a lot of shite. Real Betis are interested in signing Anthony on loan, but they want Manchester United to pay more than half of his wages, believed to be in the region of $200,000 a week. United are hoping more clubs come to the table before making a final decision. So I think there's a little bit of a little bit of stalling going on for Anthony, because I think they're hoping that maybe they can get some more interest from Anthony, and maybe they have a little bit more leverage so that they don't have to accept a deal such as this, where they would, you know, have to take and pay $200,000 a week for Anthony, which is more than half of his wages. How much is he getting paid? Is he getting paid $250,000 a week? Is he getting paid $300,000 a week? Jesus. HK says, how is Scott McTominay doing in Italy? He's doing very well. He's doing very well. He's playing very good. The Napoli fans love him. They absolutely love him. And he's having a very good time over there. So, you know, HK says Casemiro can go. Absolutely. Absolutely. He's got to go. He's got to go. Lyle says McSauce is having a ball of a time. He is, absolutely. The Italy game suits him so well. It absolutely does. And Conte is using him properly. Yes. And Conte is a good manager as well. So he's in good hands there. Napoli's a good team. They got a good manager. And the football suits him very well. So he's doing very well. HK says I swear we're cursed. No, I don't think we're cursed. I just think I think it looks like that. Even I have friends that, they're like, oh, if you go to Manchester United, your career ends. And it appears like that because we've bought the wrong players. We've bought the wrong profile of players for the wrong amount of money and brung them to the Premier League and not even the Premier League, but we brung them to Manchester United, which is a high pressure, high demand place that hasn't been successful for quite some time. I don't think it's true. I think we've done a disservice to our club by doing bad transfers, by doing bad recruitment. If we bought more people like a dalot, like a Mazzawari, like a Alessandro, these players are not bad players. They haven't performed bad for the price that we've bought them at. And nobody can say that they're flops, and nobody can say, these things that they say about these other players. Unfortunately, we haven't done enough of those sales, and we've done way more buys, and we've done way more of these very bad buys, where it's like Anthony for the stupid amount of money that he was never worth, and it was a huge gamble. Same thing with Sancho, stupid amount of money. Maguire was certainly one for numerous amounts of years, although now he seems to be, he seems to be good, and he's doing good for us, and I'm happy with his performances. But just too many of these these deals with these high, amounts of money that we shouldn't have paid ever in the first place. Even Rasmus is a little bit of a one that is a little bit of a, it was a little bit too high. But that's prior to Ineos. So I'm looking to see what kind of deals Ineos can do now going forward. He's on 220K a week, Anthony, and they want us to pay 200K a week. Are they out of their bloody mind? Real Betis. What kind of crack are you smoking over there? You smoking that papaya or something? I don't know. They're smoking fucking what 200. He gets paid 220,000 a week, and they want us to pay 200,000 a week. What kind of crack are you smoking? What the hell? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. McTominay. Chris says McTominay is shit, guys. Get a grip of yourselves. Get a bloody poster of him if you miss him now. Listen, I don't think he's necessarily shit. He's playing good in the Italian league, right? That's where it suits him the best. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean you're shit. It just doesn't mean you're suited for the Premier League, or you're better in one league than you are in the other. I think he's playing good. He seems like a good player over there. Was he good for us? No, I wanted him sold. I said he could be sold. I was okay with him being sold. You know what I mean? And I had a good feeling that, if we sold him to Italy, I had a very good feeling that he was going to go over there and play very good. I'm not surprised by it. I'm not embarrassed by it at all. HK says he needs a Bruno poster, to be fair. And he sent his uncle an MUFC wallet today. Oh, well, that's good. That's nice. Hopefully he uses it very good. Lyle says we have bought the wrong players and gave them high wages. Ed Woodward is a knob, and so is Richard Arnold, I will throw in. He wanted to build the Galacticos policy, which failed on epic proportions. He did. He absolutely did. And he had absolutely no clue how to do it either. If he was supposed to be like our Florentino Perez, he was like the Timo version of that, which was just absolutely just a high-class disaster. This man bought washed Bastian Schweinsteiger and told people watch them tremble when they see him on the pitch. And he was absolutely washed and past his prime. And he thought he was signing fucking prime Bastian Schweinsteiger and that people were going to be afraid of about it. You know what I mean? he lost his wallet over Christmas. Oh no. Well, I hope he canceled all his, if he had any cards and stuff like that. Hopefully he didn't have too much money in it. And IDs and stuff like that. I know that's Gray says, what are they smoking? Can I have some? The Italian league suits him. Absolutely. McTominay has got to all of you. You sold yourselves cheap. McTominay would have worked so well in Amorim's system, but when he was here, Erik ten Hag was still in charge and Scotty didn't fit the model. Well, I don't know. I haven't been watching Napoli. Maybe I'll go over there and I'll watch Napoli a little bit. But let's get to Marcus Rashford, everybody's favorite player, especially Grace's favorite player. Grace, your favorite player is here. So this came from DiMarzio. DiMarzio obviously used to be the king. He used to be the king of the transfers before Fabrizio came in and essentially took that crown and that title from him. But seeming as how this is, seeming how this has to do with a lot of Italian things, considering that he's been linked with AC Milan and Napoli and et cetera, et cetera. DiMarzio came out and early in today and said on Wednesday, Marcus Rashford's brother agent will meet with Manchester United and communicate his decision on which club he wants to join. We then got a later update that came today saying that if Manchester United are not willing to take on a substantial part of Marcus Rashford's wages in a loan deal, he will not be going anywhere. That came from Graham Bailey, which I think is pretty obvious anyway, because he's on $325,000 a week. And I expect that if we're going to send him a loan, we're going to have to pay some part of the wages, just like we did with Jadon Sancho. I think that's just common sense. I don't need any expert to tell me that. I already knew that prior to Graham Bailey telling us that, but thank you, Graham Bailey, for that update. And then Rashford 3 is that Marcus Rashford is not training with the Manchester United squad today. He will train individually later as he recovers from an illness. And I will say, for a guy that is a professional athlete and is supposed to be super fit, this man somehow finds himself to be ill quite a lot. I don't know what he does. He's more ill than me, than I've been, and I've never been so ill in all my life, the numerous amounts of times that I've been ill over the past 2 to 3 months. I don't understand why he keeps getting ill. He was ill not too long ago. And he wasn't in training. I don't know if they're just saying he's ill because they don't want him in, training with the squad, and they're making him train separately, and therefore they're saying that he's ill and that he has to train individually. Who knows? I don't know. HK says he has too many hangovers. We know the real illness. Well, maybe that's why he's ill. He's sick. He's having hangovers. Marcus is a great guy. He buys drinks, says Richards. Yes, he buys Richards lots of drinks. He's never bought me a drink, so I don't know. He has too many hangovers. Dublin is an amazing place. It's a great crack. So yes, that was Marcus Rashford update. Ruben Amorim, according to Graham Bailey, Ruben Amorim believes it will take 6 transfer windows to get the Manchester United squad where he wants it to be. Now, they didn't specify what that means. I'm going to say, because he said 6 transfer windows. Well, 6 transfer windows is a January, a summer, a January, a summer, a January, and a summer. That's 3 seasons. That's 6 transfer windows. If you want to say, they didn't say 6 summer transfer windows. He said 6 transfer windows. So that's 3 seasons, which I think is where many of us have been aligned with anyway. We've been saying that it's going to take about, 3 seasons, about, 6 transfer windows, which is 3 summer transfer windows and 3 January transfer windows. This would be 1, apparently. And the summer would be 2. So we're supposedly 1 out of 6, albeit I don't know how much business we're going to be able to do, but I still think that Manchester United need to do something. We need to get 1 or 2 signings in. And the fact that we have some players up, available for movement, I think we should be able to do to get that. Grace says, let's send Ugarte back and bring back McTominay, and we could play Casemiro as the DM. I'll give you a week before you want Ugarte back. No, let's not do that, Grace. I'm 100% with you. There's no swapping Ugarte for McTominay. Ugarte plays the position that he's been playing it absolutely brilliantly. McTominay is not playing. He's not playing the position that Ugarte plays. He's not doing the job that Ugarte does. Well, albeit at this moment in time, I would take McTominay over Casemiro 100%. But no, the deal we did is we sold McTominay to get Ugarte, and I'm happy with that. Now we need another midfielder. HK says he might do a video at Old Trafford training session to see what crack they're smoking. That would be a good video. It would definitely get a lot of likes. And you could title it, The Crack They're Smoking at Carrington. And it would probably break the internet. And you could even Photoshop like a picture of like one of the players or Sir Jim Ratcliffe like smoking a crack pipe or something. That shit would probably blow up everywhere. It would be hilarious. Lion says that it is not what we are saying, Grace. He needed to play with Ugarte for the freedom to do Scotty things. McTominay over Casemiro. Eric smoking gravy. Granules. No, I mean, listen, at this point, McTominay got legs. Casemiro don't got no legs. And if I got Ugarte playing there, kind of like what Lyle just said, not Lyle, Lions, kind of what Lions just said. If I got Ugarte playing and I put McTominay next to Ugarte, then I'll take that. If I'm putting Casemiro next to Ugarte, what are we doing? I think if you have Ugarte and you put McTominay next to Ugarte, I think that can work. If you have Ugarte and you put Casemiro next to Ugarte, I don't think that's gonna work as well. I think McTominay next to Ugarte is better than having Casemiro next to Ugarte. We could also just have Dalot in the 6, as Grace wants. Dalot can play wherever he likes, says Grace. Yes. Casemiro's finished, says Richard. Absolutely. When have you ever seen McTominay mark any player or do anything defensively good? Sometimes. Not all the time. The problem was sometimes he'd be absolutely ghost, but he was also kind of like the sole defensive mid, or he was being played as the sole defensive mid, and he can't have that. He can't have that. I think if you have mobile Ugarte, and you let McTominay do kind of the Kobbie role a little bit, and go up and go down and run around. I think he would do that. But we're having this discussion for no reason anyway, because McTominay ain't never coming back and it's over. So remember when we had Darmian and Ashley Young as fullbacks? Yes, and we transformed Antonio Valencia from a winger into a right back. I kind of hated that, but and Ashley Young pissed me off, man. There was that period where Ashley Young was like okay as a defender for a tiny bit, and then just like after a certain point, it was just like it was done, and we refused to get rid of him, and we refused to stop playing him there, and like I couldn't stand the fucking guy. Like every time he played and started, I was just like, I hate this man so much. I don't want to see you anymore. And it's the club's fault because the club kept playing him and the club refused to sell him. But I was just like, I don't want to see you on this pitch at this club anymore. Like, please leave. And then finally we sold him. and I was like, I felt like it was a new world. I couldn't accept it. It was really, really bad. Um, but we do have another update about so if you're interested in the center backs that we were talking about, we need more center backs and whatnot. Apparently, following Harry Maguire's revival, which Grace will disagree with, Manchester United will look at signing a younger center back with potential rather than paying big money for a ready-made replacement like a Jared Branthwaite. That's coming from Chris Wheeler, which is interesting, and Nath Salt, which I don't know who that is, but yeah, I don't know about all that. That sounds highly speculative, and I would take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if there's any accuracy into, because Harry Maguire has had a revival. Harry Maguire is fucking 32 years old. He ain't got that much left to give us. So why would that stop Manchester United from getting, I don't know, a 24-year-old ready-made, not replacement, but just another player to add to the squad? Why would that stop us? If Maguire stays, he's only going to be able to give us another 2 years or so, another 2 seasons. So why would you go from getting a 24-year-old ready-made replacement to getting, I don't know, a fucking 17-year-old or something, or an 18-year-old like a Lenny or something? I mean, you can. I don't think it matters too much. I just think whatever the best deal is. Like, if there is some sort of like another type of Lenny Euro available, I mean, I think Lenny's been good so far, and he's young and he has high potential. If there's another one of him available, then go get that. If we could do a deal for somebody that's like 24 and he's a little bit more established and he's good and we could get him on a good price, then go do that. Why does that have to have any implication on if Harry Maguire's had a bloody revival or not? Yeah. But Richard says Harry has played well since Amorim has come in. Well, to be fair, Harry has played well since last season. He was doing good last season. He suffered a little bit of an injury, right? This season, and then he came back when Amorim came in. And he's played good since Amorim has come in. So, for me, Harry's been good, and Harry is fine. I don't have a problem. At one point, I wanted Harry sold. I think you can still sell him, but I think there's also, I don't have a problem with if you work it out, lower his wage and give him maybe a 2-year contract at a lower wage. But whatever you decide, you got to figure it out. But I don't have a problem with it because I think he's been good for us. And I'm not against him with him being around in the squad. He performs well in this system, which we all know he would. But he performs well in a 3-back or a 5-back. So I don't see a problem with any of that. And I also, Line says Top Pro Mags is, and that's another thing. We got to give him credit for the fact that, he was heavily abused, heavily criticized, was stripped of the captaincy, was having an absolutely torrid time, was getting memed, was getting just absolutely, the worst of the worst that you could possibly receive. I mean, he received a bomb threat at one point to his house. He had all that shit. He absolutely, smashed some dude in Greece and was taken to court. And through all of that, he stuck it out. And he's turned his career around at Manchester United. And he's shown professionalism in that area. So I respect that as well. HK said to remember how excited Goldbridge was signing Maguire. By Christmas, he was raging at him. Yeah, it was a lot of hype. I was a little bit worried. because he's English, and I saw that he was not so mobile, which worried me as a center back in the Premier League. It worried me because I feel like you have to have some mobility to yourself. And I didn't like that. I didn't like he was so overhyped in the English media, and that we ended up paying 80 million for him. So I was very worried. And I was worried by the price tag because I was like, how is a center back going to necessarily live up to an 80 million price tag? And then I don't think we helped him by making him the captain immediately. And yeah, so there was a lot of hype about it. He was performing very well at that time at Leicester. He was scoring goals. So I could see why people, got excited about it. And there was certain aspects to his game that you could see that, well, if he adds this at Manchester United, could be very good. But I was a little bit concerned. And the same thing I was concerned with Sancho. I don't really like these big money deals, especially for these English players that we do, because I think a lot of them are overhyped and overpriced, and they rightfully so far have been. So, yeah, I would kind of stay away from them. Richard says, "Sell Diego disaster, Diogo." After that United Everton game, I'm not interested in Branthwaite. Yeah, fair enough. Agile Beast 21 says Harry needs to go. He can't run fast and is clunky on the ball. He fluked a 7-year contract. Well, fair enough, but I mean, I think in this system, listen, I think he's performing okay. I get that he doesn't have speed. And I get that he is a bit clunky at times, and that does piss me off during the matches, because sometimes he gets on the ball and he starts running sideways with the ball, and I get very nervous because he's not fast enough, and he's clunky, and he looks like there's a mistake waiting to happen, but he hasn't necessarily made them. And I think he's been okay. I think he's been okay. I think I would hold him as a squad player. He's been here for numerous amounts of years. He's been through all, adversity. He's been through it all. He's shown professionalism, and I don't think he's a bad person to have in the squad. But I would look to get in, a higher quality center back, somebody that has a little bit more speed, that fits the system a little bit better. And if Maguire wants to hang around on a lower wage, I wouldn't necessarily be against it. 2-year contract is wild. Well, listen, the thing is that's what is being faced right now, because his contract is running out. So I would offer him about a 2-year contract at a lower wage, or we let him go for free. But he knows very well that he's not going to be able to really go to a club at the stature of Manchester United. And they're probably not going to pay him over 100,000 a week either. So really, I think you can do something like, a 2-year deal at a lower wage. That brings him to about 34 years of age, and you let that contract run out, and then that's the end of that. And then he either retires or he goes and plays for a much lower team. So, Gray says top pro. Yeah, well done. He's done his job in the back three because he's shit in the back four. What does he want, a bloody statue? No, he doesn't need a bloody statue. Agile says, I don't like the abuse against him. We were 8th last year with him in the team, and now we're 13th with him playing a lot. But I don't think that's up to him, though. I don't think that's on him. I don't think you can say, because of him, I don't think you could directly say, like, Harry Maguire played a lot, we finished 8th. Harry Maguire played a lot, now we're 13th. I don't think that has really anything to do with him. That's for me, that's the whole team aspect. HK says actually a statue would do better than Maguire himself. Well, maybe. I think you guys are mean. You guys are being mean. No, Grace, you're very angry tonight. Take a glass of wine or two. She doesn't drink wine. Apparently, so she says, but I thought she did, but she says she doesn't. HK says he needs a crate after every game. I'm angry because you lost your talking crap. We're just giving her our opinion, Grace. We're just giving her our opinion. Nah, Grace is good fun. I agree. Back three suits him better, but he can't stay beyond 2026. Well, that's what I would just give him a 2-year contract. And then just let it go. But he does force the entire team to retreat through when he plays. Well, maybe fair enough, but but we also need more center backs then. I listen, to get in another center back, I don't think you don't need to get rid of Maguire to get another center back. We need another center back regardless. I actually think if you get rid of Maguire, then we need to get 2 center backs. Because you need to replace Maguire, and we already need another center back. So, this is our morning therapy. Yeah, it could be. But if you want to have a laugh, and you're ready for a laugh, then here's the laugh. And this is what I said. Remember, I said we're gonna weave, and because we were talking about selling to buy, right? And I said I'm gonna weave it a little bit, and I'm gonna bring it back into a full story. So here you go. If you wanna have a laugh, according to Graham Bailey, Manchester United are assessing bringing in a left wing back this month. As we speak, it may be a stand-in player for January. And he said that don't rule out Ben Chilwell. And all I have to say on this is that if we sell Alejandro Garnacho for 50, 60 million and we go anywhere near Ben Chilwell, delete the club. Delete the club. I mean, Ben Chilwell shouldn't be coming anywhere near us. Even if we lose money, Ben Chilwell should be nowhere near Manchester United, ever in the history of ever. Ben Chilwell is the equivalent. Ben Chilwell is the player equivalent of a Gareth Southgate. Should be nowhere near Manchester United, at any circumstance, at any time, for any reason. And I would need a therapist, HK, for this. This cannot happen. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Ben Chilwell is absolutely god awful shit, and there's no reason why he should be linked to Manchester United in any way. I think there's a lot of shite coming from Graham Bailey. I don't know why he said don't rule out Ben Chilwell. No one else has mentioned Ben Chilwell. I don't know if Graham Bailey is friends with Ben Chilwell, agent or some shit. I have no clue. But yeah, that would just be, I mean, you're taking the absolute piss with Ben Chilwell. So Agile says, I agree, we can't let Lindelof, Evans, and Maguire go at once. Well, this is what I'm saying. Well, I think Evans is just gonna retire. Lindelof, I would move Lindelof on before I move Maguire on. I would move Lindelof on. And if we get those two out, then, it is what it is. Grace says, yes, Chilwell, what a player. Richard says, what, more injuries than Luke Shaw? I mean, Agile says it's a hell no for Chilwell. HK says I can't keep crying at my TV every weekend. Well, listen, the past two matches you haven't had to cry, HK. So, hopefully we keep that up. Grace says Chilwell swap for Mainoo, do it. Yeah, that sounds like the most absolute worst deal. I think I'm trying to be nice without being overtly mean. I can't do it. I can't do it. I have something that's just absolutely explicit. That I don't think is a nice thing to do. But I was gonna say something along the lines of, yeah, no, I'm not gonna say. But yeah, that would just be, that would just be, um, not even a 4-year-old would do such a deal. Um, Chelsea scammed us with Mount. Why in the actual F would we buy another player from them? Well, I mean, Chelsea have scammed. I mean, Chelsea scammed us with Mount. They scammed Arsenal with Havertz. Chelsea are a bunch of scammers. I think. I think people. I mean, even they took Sterling. Arsenal took Sterling also. Like they scammed them with that too. Even though that deal is not like the Havertz deal or like the Mount deal. I think everybody should stay the fuck away from Chelsea and their players and their deals, and they should let them sell those players to whoever the fuck they want to sell them to. But if I'm a Premier League team, we should stay far away from Chelsea. We should stop giving them money for their shitty players that they're scamming people out of, and we're taking double losses because we're a Premier League team giving money to another Premier League rival, and we're also not getting our money worth out of it, and then they're going and taking that money and buying somebody that is actually good, then plays against us and then performs against us. So we should stay far, far away from Chelsea and any of their fucking players. I don't want another Chelsea player. I don't want to look at a Chelsea player. They can piss off with their players and sell them to fucking Atletico Madrid or whatever they want to do, but not to us. Thank you very much. HK says Zlatan and Bruno for me, best post Fergie signings. Well, definitely, certainly Bruno. He's definitely been the most influential, the most impactful. The one you could probably argue has been the most, you know, price worthy. That we paid for him, and in terms of impact and what we gotten out of it. Yes, people. Grace is trolling. You should know that by now. Grace is always trolling. Uh, she's been trolling. That's why I don't lose my shit on Grace, because I know she's trolling. Each kid said, "Who heard that song London Scammer by Tanks?" By Tanks. That's Chelsea's song. Is it really? I have not. Grace says Chilwell is worth at least 60 million. So a Garnacho swap. What? No, I think we should just swap Chilwell for Kobbie Mainoo. I think we should take Kobbie Mainoo. We'll give him Kobbie. And they give us Chilwell, and they give us no money. Best signing has been Bruno. Yeah, I think hands down Bruno. He's been the most impactful. There's a guy at Chelsea we should buy. His name is Jadon Sancho. No. That's actually what we should do is we should give them Kobbie Mainoo and Alejandro Garnacho, and they should give us Jadon Sancho and Ben Chilwell in a swap. It's probably the best deal out there. If we could get that done, absolutely fantastic. I would take Cole Palmer. Now there's an interesting. Would you swap Kobbie Mainoo for Cole Palmer? Would you swap Kobbie Mainoo for Cole Palmer? It would be weird to see them in the opposite jerseys. I would tell you that much. HK says he would swap. He would swap Kobbie Mainoo for Cole Palmer. HK says Cole Palmer edits would go hard. That's what he's thinking about. He's got that little bit of the agenda in the background. That's why he wants that. Lyle says no, not a chance in hell. They can keep Palmer. Richard says he would swap, and Gray says no because it's not the same position. Well, that's fair enough. I don't know. I don't think I would swap because it would. I don't know. It feels weird. It just feels weird. I can't give you an explanation. I can't give you a football explanation. I can't tell you, because of the tactics of this and that. It just feels wrong. It feels wrong. It feels wrong to see Kobbie Mainoo in a Chelsea jersey, and it feels wrong to see Cole Palmer in a United jersey. Um, I don't know. I feel weird about it. I feel strange about it. I don't like it. It kind of gives me the what's that thing that girls always talk about? The ick. It gives me the ick. I don't even like thinking about it. So I probably wouldn't do it, but I don't know. I'm sure that's a hot topic issue there. Um, Mount can go back for Palmer. Well, that I would definitely do. Would you swap Enzo for Mainoo? No, because I don't like Enzo. I don't like his. I don't like him. I just don't like him. I have an agenda. If I have to say, I don't like Enzo Fernandez. I don't like his attitude. I don't like his mentality. He's left his wife and his kid, and that's turned him into a baller. No. Um, it seems like there's like baggage with that guy. Um, I don't like that. I don't want that. Tell him to get away from me. Bournemouth are beating Chelsea now. Holy shit! No way. Um, Absolutely crazy. Just absolute madness going on. Um, so um, what I'm gonna do is let me check the internet. Oh, we're in the wrong. Let me see. Nottingham Forest is still winning, yeah? Let me see if we got any updates. Don't see any United updates. Probably because all the football is going on. So we're probably gonna get updates after the matches are all over. Which seems like, typically what they would do. So um Marcus Rashford sends clear message to Ruben Amorim amid Manchester United transfer links. Manchester United winger Marcus Rashford has shown he is keeping his fitness levels high as Ruben Amorim ponders his team selection for the clash of Southampton on Thursday night. Rashford returned to the United squad at the end of December, but was unused sub. However, the winger appears to have gotten over his illness and has taken to social media to show himself working hard in the gym. Okay, Manchester United Evening News. He's not getting back into the squad. It's just not going to happen. So Manchester. I said Manchester United Evening. Manchester Evening News. He's not getting back into the squad. You could write whatever fucking article you want about him being in the gym. It's not happening. Um, I don't see anything else, but not even in the correct tab. Sorry about that. Yes, I see Marcus Rashford on the bike or whatever in the gym. You, um, Randall Kolo Muani, who was linked with Manchester United, is joining Juventus on loan per Fabrizio Romano. So that guy, that ain't happening for us. He's gone. He's going to Juventus on loan. So that's one less option for Manchester United. Um, yeah, Muani. Momani to Juventus, so that's done. So we've lost out on that. And there's been no updates. There's been no updates since we've gone live. So I'm telling you, the updates will come after the matches. But yeah. You lot give me the ick the way you talk about Maguire and McTominay have an agenda against all of you now, says Grace. Food solves all problems, says HK. It does solve many, many problems. Updates on scores from Lyle. Brentford 0, City 2. Well, that's disappointing. Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 2. So that's kind of good. It's a little bit of joy for us. West Ham 3. 1 Fulham, Nottingham Forest still 1-0 Liverpool. So we like that at the very least. If Chelsea lose and Forest win, that's very good. Grace says I'm always moody because I have to listen to idiots. Grace, what did you just what is that? This is a virus, Grace. What are we looking at? You sent the wages. Capology. What are we looking at? Wages? What am I looking at here? Looking at. How did Rashford get away with fraud so many years? Chelsea Major L. Guys are brutal today. Yeah, it's one of those days. It is what it is. It is what it is. Wage breakdowns. United wages. Okay. United wages. Gross per week. Casemiro, 350,000. Bruno Fernandes, 300,000. Rashford 300,000, Mason Mount 250,000, Anthony is on 200,000, but apparently he's on more because they want us to pay more than 200,000. So I don't know what the fuck he's on, but he's on something. He's on something. Matthijs de Ligt, we gave him 195,000, which is kind of a little high, and Maguire's on 190,000 as well. And this is what I'm saying. So Maguire, holy shit! Wait, Mason Mount's on 250,000. Why did we give him that? Yeah. See, Maguire, we gotta chop that shit to like 100K. We gotta take that 90,000 out of there. Or something like that. You know, maybe 120. I don't know. 2-year contract. Or we just let you go. But here, we're wasting money. I mean, Casemiro, 350,000, right? Rashford, 300,000. That's 650,000. Mason Mount, 250,000. That's 900,000, right? Anthony, that's 1.1 million. 1.1 million. Christian Eriksen, 1.25 million. Shaw, 1.4 million. 1.4 million. Lindelof, 1.52 million. That's craziness. And that's just in those wages, in those players. And that's a week. That's a week. What does that get us a year? 152. How many zeros? Times 52. That's 80 million. That's 80. All those players that I just named, their weekly wage combined for a year, that's 80 million pounds. Jesus. 80 million pounds, you know. What the hell? £80 million. Brentford have scored. Let's go. United wages, Mainoo's on 20K. Holy shit, I didn't even see that. Yeah, Mainoo's on 20K. Yeah, I mean that's ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. Like, can't be on 20K. He's got to be way higher. I mean, Rasmus. To be fair, we paid good amount of money to Rasmus for the Rasmus transfer fee, but we only gave him 85,000. So I mean that's cool. You know, Xerxes gave him 105. Like that's all right. Euro. See, this is the thing. I think if I'm Kobbie Mainoo, I'm gonna argue that, and I'm not gonna ask for. I mean, I won't ask for 200 for 200,000 maybe, but listen, Lenny Euro is 18 years old, and he just came here, and he's getting paid 115,000 a week, right? I'm Kobbie Mainoo. I'm literally from the youth academy. I've been one of your most important players last season and this season. I'm earning 20K a week. I need to be getting paid more than Lenny Euro. Sure, I can't, you know. So I would be asking for at least 125,000 or something like that. There's no reason, you know, like, you know, if I'm Mainoo, I'm not saying like, oh, look at Mason Mount. Well, Mason Mount's much older and whatever, and he was done, you know, out of the Ineos structure. But Lenny Euro, he was done in the Ineos structure. So if I'm Mainoo, I'm saying, well, you gave Lenny fucking 150,000. Meanwhile, I've been more important at this club than he has. So I need to get paid more than him for sure. Yeah, knock off 80 million. Wow, yeah, 80 million. That's crazy. Absolutely insane. In those wages, and that's in wages. It's in wages. It's 80 million in wages plus whatever you can get for them for transfer fees. Add Lindelof. I did add Lindelof. He wasn't there. I added Lindelof. Is it true that United have paid 1.4 billion on interest alone and haven't touched the actual debt yet and still have 400 million on outstanding transfer fees? Yes. Yes. And the reason why that is because we have owners, called the Glazers. And as a business owner, it's good for interest. But obviously as a football club, it's not good. But if typically if you have a standard business, interest payments on the loans, they like those things. Those are good. But as a football club, we don't want that shit, obviously. And outstanding transfer fees. I mean, a lot of clubs usually have that because they pay them. They pay them over a certain amount of years. So you're always going to have some sort of you know, if you keep the player, you'll have outstanding payments because it's just, you know, you spend 200 million in one season, it's broken up. It's going to be, you know, over a certain amount of years, and every time you buy players, you keep adding to it. Euro's wages are a bit high. Mainoo should be on around 75 to 100K. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they, no, and they probably had to give him a little bit higher wages, Grace, because Real Madrid was, you know, lurking around there, and they were trying to get him. So maybe we had to give him a little bit higher wages than we would have liked because we had to entice him a little bit more, and obviously, you know, for the right reasons. You know, Real Madrid have been better than us. For quite some time now, so they're a little bit more attractive. So maybe we had to incentivize them just a little bit extra. Mainoo will get his due, yeah, I'm sure. Remember, Euro is one of those rare transfers where his age doesn't matter. We needed to get that deal over the line. Yeah, absolutely. All the players I listed, you get all them off the wage bill over the next 2 years. Our wage structure would be so much better, maybe lower wages and higher performance bonuses. 100%. That's what needs to be done. That's what needs to be done. I think that's what Ineos are looking at as well. You know, I don't actually think that they're too far off of that. You know, this, I mean, number one, Casemiro, they're looking to get out. Rashford, you know, I don't know if it necessarily came from the club, but it started with Ruben Amorim, and I guess Brentford have tied it. Bloody hell, the scenes are going crazy. It's an absolute madness. Let me put this on. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, absolutely. They've tied it. I can't believe they've tied it. They've tied it. They bloody tied it, mate. They have tied it. That's insane. In added time. Hold that, you city scrubs. That's right. Hold that L. Eric trying to be British. Get in, blood. Get in, blood. Get in, blood. Injected in my veins, bruv. Injected in my veins, bruv. These games are going mental. It's going absolutely mental, bruv. Lions, Frank. His Frank. Oh, don't blow it. What if they score again? Please, she said, please stop. Okay. I will. I will. Only because you asked nicely. Only because you asked nicely. But anyway, we're gonna end the show anyway, because it's been almost about 2 hours, and the show has dragged on long enough. So, oh shit, Liverpool have tied it, 1-1. Diego Jota. But listen, guys, thank you for all your support. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you to everybody that sent the super chat. You're absolutely brilliant. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you everybody that smashed the like button. Thank you to everybody that got involved in the show. And you know, our usuals like Grace, Lions, Lyle, Richard, Ray was here for a little while, HK as well. We had one or two sort of newer guys that was in here. Agile Beast 21, shout out to you. Shout out to I lost big chat. Shout out to Johnny Hill as well. Johnny was in here earlier. Shout out to RSV and the chat doesn't go far back that far, but yeah, shout out to all of you. And Grace again says, comment down below favorite brand of shampoo, if you want. After I end the show, if you guys want to do it again, because you guys have been so magnificent and great, go under the show and get in the comment section and leave comments. Grace says it's mandatory, so there you go. I don't make the rules. Grace makes the rules, so it's mandatory. So you have to go in there, leave some comments down below. It helps us out. Brentford 2-2, Manchester City full-time. That's very good. They dropped 2 points, and we can laugh at them. Ha 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 ha. Plastic FC. No, but yeah, if you guys want to help me out or help us out in that way, even more so, that'd be great. I always love the comments too. You guys make some good ones and some funny ones too. It gives me a good laugh. So yeah, you could go ahead and do that. We will, because today's Tuesday, right? We may or may not go live tomorrow, but obviously then we have the match on Thursday. So Stay posted, stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated in the community tab if we're gonna go live tomorrow. And another thing that I want to update you guys on is that I did start work on the on the Discord. I've started work on the Discord. The shell is there. I'm setting it up for the call in and whatever other features we're gonna have. So I got a little bit more work I got to do on that, and that should be ready to go maybe by next week, hopefully. So yeah, I'm probably gonna work on that a little bit later today or tomorrow, and really get it set up, and then I'll get the link in here, and you guys will be able to join. And yeah, that would be good. Grace says City, 100-point deduction next season, plays 38 games in the Premier League, knowing they're going to get relegated anyway. Chelsea 2-2, so they drop points as well. We ready for the Discord, says Lyle. Yes, I'm ready too. So I'm just sorting out how the whole call-in thing works, because there's like permissions and stuff that I gotta. There's a lot of options and permissions, so I set up the skeleton of it is there. It's there. I have the profile picture. I have the little thing. I have the little room so far for the call-in show and stuff like that. But there's a lot of like accessibility and permissions. I got to read them and make sure that like I don't give anybody access to certain things, so that they can go in there and start messing around with things that I don't want them messing around with and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll be working on that. But otherwise, thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being the best community in the world. You guys are much appreciated as always. Love you guys. And you know, we are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are ready for the Discord, and you are ready. And you are the greatest community. So make sure your security is up. A lot of YouTube channels getting hacked. Okay, that's good to know. I don't know how they get hacked, but yeah, all right, good to know. I'll keep an eye on that. That Discord is bloody confusing. Well, don't worry. When we have it, Grace is the security. Grace is the security. Don't worry. When we have it set up, Lions, you know, we'll help you out. You know, we'll get the link in here. We'll get you to click the link, and then we'll kind of walk you through it. And then we could also all chat to each other. So you know, Lyle will be able to message you, or somebody, or even me, and you know, inside the Discord, and we'll walk you through it. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. But thank you guys for being here. It was good talking to you, and yeah, just everybody take care. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your days. And maybe we'll talk tomorrow, and if not, we'll obviously be here for the Red Devil recap on Thursday. So mods on mods to help. Yes. I'm also gonna need a mod, which, I mean, Grace is familiar with she has her own Discord, which I joined, by the way. You know, so if Grace is gonna be around, like she usually is, I'm gonna need somebody to help with the call-in stuff as well, because I'm gonna need somebody. I need somebody to pull some people in from the waiting room into the thing, and we'll get that all sorted out. Don't worry about it. I've been told not to click on links. Yes, don't click on random links. But if I give you a link, don't worry about it. I'm not going to give you anything crazy. So Grace says, let's go. She's everywhere. She is everywhere. She's also fantastic. And ban people. Yes, the most important thing. And ban people. That's really what we need you there for. Ban people. Yell at people. Shout at people. And get people to do things so that I don't have to seem like the bad person. You do that for me. That's you are the utmost importance, Grace. But other than that, everybody take care. Be good, and we'll speak very, very soon, okay?